Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You know, there has never been a sustained level of new XRP accounts created like what we're seeing today. And I'll tell you this, even more amazing is that this is happening before XRP has even hit a new all-time high. And so I can only imagine what these numbers will look like by the time we get there, to get to that new all-time high, which I think is a virtual inevitability. It's been almost 7 years, but it's so close you can taste it just a little bit, right? And so look, this is a clear sign of a couple things. Well, number one, there are way more people in crypto today than there were in the past two cycles. And so also the rate of new people coming in will dwarf what happened, for example, what happened in the 2017 cycle. And number two, more interesting and importantly, as a result of number one, a ton of those people, they are discovering XRP and investing because they believe the price will go much higher. And isn't it fascinating now that we can see XRP, of course, has been around for over a decade. As people have consistently come in over the past decade, new market entrants, new speculators, right? And of course, you have a higher rate of them at the peak of, market cycles, the euphoria and all. But there's still been a consistent increase of new people jumping into crypto. And as that happens, what's just wildly interesting to me, is that there's a ton of them that consistently agree when they come across XRP for the first time, wow, this is amazing, yes, it makes sense. Because if that weren't continuing to happen for straight over 10 years at this point, XRP wouldn't remain in the top 10 coins by market cap, and it has been there for its entire existence now. So it's not just you, it's not just me, it's not just all the institutions. Consistently, as new people come in, they're blown away by it as well. Much to the chagrin of any toxic Bitcoin maximalist out there, but hey, sorry, not sorry, XRP actually just works. From a technological perspective, it does what Bitcoin cannot on layer one. You have effectively real-time settlements that cost a fraction of a penny. Yeah, that matters. And then you look at the ecosystem around it and the amount of real-world adoption, actual use cases. XRP is using enterprise-grade software literally every single day. It's a no-brainer. But so I'm going to share with you some specifics, and my God, retail, yes, they are finding out about XRP. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so what I've got on the screen right here, it's XRP scan. The middle chart is the number of new accounts activated over the last 6 months, roughly here. And so you can see, and this is actually the case for most of the year, but if you go back to June here at the beginning of this chart here, you can see it, depends on what day you're talking about, but on any given day, there may be about 1,000 new accounts, could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. And that's how it's been. It's actually been like that. Again, it's a 6-month chart, but that's how it's been for most of the year, frankly. There's a little bit of a spike around February and March because, markets were heating up to whatever, even though it wasn't alt season back then. But look what happened as things took off for XRP in November. I mean, it just started rocketing. And I mean, quickly after the election, you already had a doubling, like even by November 8th, there were over 2,000 new accounts created in a single day. Fast forward just a little bit further, you get here to like the middle of November, roughly the 16th here, 6,836 new accounts created. And it's not a perfectly up line, but you wouldn't expect that anyway. And then here get to the 22nd, almost 8,000 new accounts in a single day, November. And by the time you get to, here's the peak, December 2nd, 30,641 new accounts created in a single freaking day. This is a record. And I reported on this at the time, and so I guess it's been a couple weeks since I talked about this last, which is why I wanted to give you an update. 30,641 accounts created in a single day, a record, and this is amazing to me, because we haven't even hit the peak of the bull run. This is not max euphoria. This is just the beginning phases. That illustrates how many more people are in crypto, and out of those new people in crypto, like I said, how many are choosing to invest in XRP because they came to the same conclusion as you and me, which is that this makes freaking sense, and it's way better than Bitcoin, obviously, and it's functionally useful. It's one of those useful coins in the entire crypto ecosystem, or else it wouldn't be in the position that it's in. Especially not after an SEC attack for the last several years, absolutely. And so I look at this and I think, well, knowing that you haven't had the crazy influx of the new people come in, although there are some, I'm sure some are listening right now, in which case, welcome to the party. But we haven't had the massive quantity. So where I don't know where this is going to peak out. It just makes me wonder, like, so when we are in max euphoria for XRP and it hits a new all-time high and it's entering price discovery, what's that going to look like? I don't know. What's it going to be like 60, 70, 80,000 accounts in a single day? Higher? 100,000? And I don't pretend to know. But what do you think that means for price? And that's why I'm highlighting this. Like, what do you think that means ultimately for price if that many new people are coming in? This is insane. And so, look, we've been consolidating for the last couple weeks, of course. And so the number of new accounts dwindled in the few days after that. So, for instance, on December 3rd, it dropped down to only 20,000 new accounts, 20,207. And then the next day, 16,166. The next day, 12,824. Now, this is not surprising because as the coin's consolidating, there's less excitement around it, so you wouldn't expect as many people to be jumping in because the typical lemming retail speculators, they chase green candles. That's just how they behave. It's not the best idea. It's best to just get positions before they take off. Although in the case of XRP, I get it. Like, there's a lot of analysts expecting it to go to $10, $20, $30, depending on who you ask. Some think even a little bit higher than that. So if that happens, I understand, like, this is still sufficiently early if that's the case. But you can see, of course, it came down a bit. But this is amazing to me. So again, we were averaging for most of this year about 1,000 new accounts per day. But for most of like the last, say week and a half where it's been consolidating, it's been plus or minus 10,000 new accounts per day. It could be a little, depending on the day, a little higher, a little lower. That's astonishing. You know how many new people that it's like there's so many people paying attention to XRP. This is wild. And here you can see, so here's the same chart, but going back to the beginning of the data being collected, January 2nd, 2013, number of new accounts activated for XRP. I mean, it's just wild. You can go back to the beginning. It's kind of incredible to look at. Like, for instance, here's one of the earliest days tracked. January 22nd, 2013, there were 10 new accounts created. Can you imagine the opportunity back then? Oh, God. Of course, it's way more risky back then. It's more obvious that XRP is here to stay at this point. So the people that invested back then, yeah, they deserved it more than anybody that came after, including myself, obviously, because that's way more risky. Now it's very clear. But this is like a sweet spot for me because it's obvious to anybody if you do the research, but there's almost no humans on the planet that know what XRP is. And so I'm like, yeah, that's the sweet spot, all right? Like, I have there's enough of a track record and enough real world adoption for me to be like, yeah, this thing's not going away. Very clearly, we agree as speculators in the crypto asset class, very obviously. It couldn't be more obvious, right? But at the same time, there's so little money in it compared to where I think it's going to be in the future because there's so few humans. There's like less than 1% of humans on the planet have ever held XRP at any point in time. So if we're right and this thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger, my God, that's why we have the opportunity for life-changing wealth here. But look at these accounts. Like, as I'm just going through, you can see various dates at the bottom and how many new accounts were created on any given day. It's in like the low hundreds here in 2015. It's wild. But then you see what happened in 2017. And it's like the biggest day we had for the 2017 cycle. It was December 29th, 2017. 21,402 new accounts created. Now, that was at peak euphoria. So that type of level wasn't sustainable. That was the peak, right? And then you had kind of similar numbers for the last cycle because XRP was artificially suppressed because of that stupid-ass SEC lawsuit, because of those dumbass pricks over at the SEC. But, still, it's kind of amazing actually considering that it got as high as it did. And I guess this is when it was peaking here, right around here. So, yeah, I'm having trouble picking it up. I'd have to change the date range to pick it up on my mouse here. But, it wasn't even as high as what you saw in 2017. And there was a peak later in the year, but that was unrelated to the price action. There are other reasons that you'd seen random little spikes here and there over the years, which I'm not getting into for the purpose of this video. I'm just focusing on the types of spikes that we saw in previous market cycles. And so that's why I say, again, look at where we are here all the way on the right, what I just showed you, over 30,000 accounts in a day. And now sustaining roughly 10,000 new accounts per day. That's a tenfold increase from earlier this year. What do you think that means for price? This is buck wild, my friends. Absolutely buck wild. And thank you, crypto gods, for like obviously this asset class is here to stay. And I was convinced of that within a matter of days after I jumped in. I had already done enough research, even though I knew almost nothing. I'd done enough research to figure out, oh, crypto's here to stay. Because I recognized that there were business models that could exist that were valuable that could not exist without a decentralized cryptocurrency that's technologically sufficient. And so the first instance I found out was XRP being positioned as a bridge currency. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because I understood that without that technology and without that native crypto asset, XRP on the XRP ledger, you literally couldn't do certain things like XRP as a bridge currency. So I was like, well, that's valuable. People are going to want that, obviously. And so that's when I had my epiphany, my aha moment, if you will. So anyway, since the asset class obviously makes sense now, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just amazing to see this level of traction before things get completely bonkers. I am blown away by this. I mean, I've been looking at this chart on and off for 7 years now, literally, and to see this actually happen, it's just like, this is the type of thing I always thought could happen and expected would, but to see it actually unfold, it still does honestly feel a bit surreal, even though I always expected it. Like reality slaps a little bit differently than, you know, just imagining it, right? And this isn't the only instance of proof that, yeah, people are paying attention. Here's a headline from you today. Google searches for XRP explode. According to data provided by Google Trends, searches for the XRP cryptocurrency recently reached a new peak, overshadowing the 2017 peak. The Google Trends score is meant to display the overall search interest for a certain term on a scale from 0 to 100, with 100 indicating peak popularity. Ethereum, for comparison, displayed significantly lower search interest in December compared to XRP with 22 points. And so it's probably been 2 or 3 weeks since I last highlighted this particular search metric on Google Trends, but this is just the XRP search metric going back to the beginning of time. And it is at an all-time high. It just is. I mean, and this is, again, amazing to see, because this is the beginning of this is the first move up for XRP, and there are more search queries for XRP right now compared to last market cycle and the cycle before that in 2017. It's already higher. And so the dotted line is Google, they're forecasting where this is going to land. And what's on your screen now, for those of you looking, that's November of 2024. So that's at a 39 compared to where they're forecasting it to land based on recent activity. But even with that 39, based on the forecasted 100 here for December, that's still above each of the last 2 cycles. That is insane. But that's in line with what we've also seen based on number of new accounts created. Where do you think this goes? This is why I'm so excited to record this video. Like how this is going to impact the price for XRP. I'm not making a price prediction. I never do that. That's just not my jam. But suffice it to say, I would hazard a guess that it's going to be way higher than where it is now, as in new all-time high, price discovery, face melting, all that stuff. Because it's going to be even higher. I would be willing to bet. Oh man, so 2025 is just going to be unreal. It will be completely lit. Do the Utes still say that? The Utes, do they say lit? It's going to be lit, man. It's going to be totally incredible. I also thought I'd highlight this because this is a fun one too. There's this little video put together from XRP community member named Brett, and I'll play it silent here. So here's what it is though. It's what would have happened if 3 months ago you had invested $100 in Bitcoin, and if you put $100 in XRP. So that's the starting point. So that's the $100 value for each of those. And then it shows you the charts moving, developing over a 3-month span over 25 seconds. So just take a look at this. And the Toxic Bitcoin Maximalist said that this wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened. And XRP, you'll see, just watch it jump up here. It wasn't supposed to happen, they said, but then it did. Look at this. Just wait for it. And it's what I've been screaming this would happen all year. I've been saying XRP would substantially outperform, and it already is. Look at that. Look at that. Not done. Keep on going. Keep on going. Oh, yeah. So at the end of the video here, I'll get to the end point. You can see, hold on, let me grab it here. So at the end, it's basically XRP. So that $100 after 3 months, for if you put it in XRP, would be worth $463 roughly. And Bitcoin, that 100 would be worth $184. So it wouldn't have even doubled. And at its peak, because obviously XRP pulled back a bit, it would have been, it would have gone from $100 to over $500. I don't know if I can grab that real quick. Let's see if I can get. I got up to 500 and what? 500. I think I saw 517 maybe. Yeah, 507. I think that might have been the peak. So you turn from the bottom of the top, $100 into $517, and at that point, Bitcoin was only worth $176. Now, by the time this cycle's done, though, it's going to be way more impressive than that. I think that's my guess anyway. You guys tell me what you think, but yeah, I think that, like I've been saying the whole time, like this cycle, XRP is just going to dwarf whatever performance Bitcoin has, and it already has, but it's going to be this by some multiplier. It's going to dwarf it way more than this. It's not like XRP is not done. It just started heating up. It's surreal, man. Like I've been waiting for this so long, and I know so many of you have as well. And it's nice having a community out there so we can all talk about this and kind of enjoy this experience together, especially after the crap we went through the last several years with the SEC BS. But, man, we gonna get ours. Oh boy, are we gonna get ours. It could not be more obvious. It could not freaking be more obvious. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.